This is not the same thing, actually, as you said. Thank you. Let's thank Mr. Klavins. The system is very clear. We are getting greener. His green jacket is a very good proof of that. Here we have two gentlemen, Carlos Bardes and Ivar Svish from the company Eco Rivers, the good ones, those who are separating. Will you both need the microphones, or you could sort of share one microphone? The presentation is a co-authorship of the two gentlemen, because they will bring everything out of their pockets. Everything that hasn't been separated will separate everything and put back in their pockets. So what happens with the waste after we throw it away? Well, I suppose we should start by responding to the question of the Environmental Protection Club. What should the people do? Because I didn't really hear the answer. As been correctly indicated, we are threatened with penalties for non-separation of waste. So in this regard, all the waste management companies have consensus, and we are clear about that. You know, if the waste deposition costs will remain as they are, the inhabitants will not be encouraged to separate anything, because the waste disposal costs are ridiculously low. If we will dramatically increase the waste disposal costs, as it is in Europe, introduce 100 euros per cubic meter, then the interest in separation will grow, definitely. Another thing, in Estonia and Tallinn, for example, there is a municipal regulation ever since 2009 in place, which states that there are two tariffs applied. One tariff is applied to separate waste, which is deposited, and the other one is applied to non-separated waste, and the difference is 10 times. You have to pay 10 times more for non-separated waste that you would like to dispose of. So the solutions are very clear. They are on the table, so they are also realistic and functioning very well. So that's the answer. Knowing that we'll have quite many questions, we'll try to go through our presentation very briefly in order to leave enough room for discussion and emphasize only the key points. So we are going to talk about three major issues: the priorities of the waste management in EU, the development of recycling in Latvia, and the waste separation challenges in Latvia, the role of enterprises and inhabitants. The first part will be developed by Carlos. Let me shortly explain to you the framework and the way we are going. So this is a triangle with the peak downwards, which shows how important it is to separate the waste according to EU Waste Management Directive. First of all, we should try to reduce the amount of waste. We should promote recycling. We should promote burning of waste or incarceration of waste for the energy purposes, and we should incineration. We should also deposit the waste, and the suggested is that the top activity, and next slide very well shows the structure of waste in EU member states, and here you can see. So this is the Latvian column here. The black is the landfill waste, the green is the recycled and composted waste, and the orange is incinerated with energy recovery. Now you can see the picture for the time being right now, and you saw towards what we should be working. What concerns the development of the recycling in Latvia, this is my responsibility. Eco Rivers is involved in that ever since 2001. With each year we are increasing the amount of recycled waste and the range of the materials we are recycling. Initially we started recycling only cardboard, paper, and printed paper, and glass and plastic. Now we have also added many other materials to the range of materials we are recycling. So the present situation forces us to recycle the materials that we previously didn't think of as recyclable materials, because we thought that they were the waste. It would be our dream, each inhabitant coming with us with bags of plastic and plastic bottles. That would be our dream. Initially, we were working only with the three materials that I already mentioned, whereby now we are starting to work with solid plastic as well, or hard plastic as well. What concerns hard plastic, there's a wide range of materials that we can recycle, and the more the Chinese technologies develop, the better the Chinese learn to combine the polymers that were previously uncombinable, the easier it will be for us to collect and recycle these materials. Previously, we knew there was only one polymer that we had to separate, take separately, and then recycle it. Now we have several combinations of the polymers that we can receive and recycle. So previously you saw the separation line. Here are the bottles, empty bottles, mainly vodka bottles, glass bottles. Another important aspect and good development achieved in Latvia is the collection of the household electronics and its recycling. If initially 2.5 years ago it seemed to be very expensive and complicated process where basically any kind of electrical appliance was related to costs, recycling costs. Now we have reached the point where approximately 70% of the household appliances, electronic appliances that we are collecting, can be sold for something having positive balance, and that's a major achievement. Now about the separation. As I expect, there are going to be many questions on the waste separation and separated waste collection and the level of the separation and its development in Latvia. Considering that we have quite active listeners, I would like to ask you to respond to 3 questions. Please, those of you who think that we should start separating the waste, raise your hands. Well, nobody, sort of keeping their hands down. Now, please raise hands those who have already started separating waste. Very nice. Very nice. This is a very specific audience. We can't say that it's the whole Latvia. These are sort of the weirdo greens. And, do you know where there is a separated waste disposal landfill? Anywhere in Riga? Do you know where it's located?
Ļoti labi.
Very good. So, we only had a couple of raised hands. Are we talking about the containers, or are we talking about dedicated landfills or dedicated areas consisting of different types of containers and different disposal grounds for the household appliances, etc., including the biodegradable materials? So where are these landfills? Where are they hidden? So if we would ask such a question in Limbaži, Cēsis, or other regional towns, they probably would, all of them would raise the hand, because they have at least 2 such landfills, and they are quite familiar with them. One, if we talk about Riga, then we have in Ganību Dambis 27. This is one of the locations. Second is located near the Getliņa landfill. And we also have a special area that had to be operational already for 2 years, but they are still not completed. And this is the situation in Riga, actually, unfortunately. And quite nearby, where we have this railway bridge, under this bridge you also have a special facility where you can sort your waste. However, it's not in a very good condition at the moment. So this is the situation we have to deal with. So this also illustrates to what extent we are actually able to sort our waste. And now I would like to talk about what can be done by the companies and by private individuals in order to improve the situation. And one of the possibilities for the companies is to support this